Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi and welcome. Today I'm going to be sharing all the secrets on how I lost 20 pounds in 3 months. This is the sort of video I wish I had to refer to when I went through numerous attempts at trying to lose weight, trying to glow up, trying to change my life, trying out every kind of wacky diet out there, yo-yoing, gaining, losing, gaining some more, and never truly actually losing the weight to keep it off. Before we start, of course, I want to say I am not an expert. I am not qualified in any of these areas, but I do have your best interests at heart, and I'm truly sharing with you today things that I wish someone had told me. I'm not going to be sitting here telling you to eat a ridiculously low calorie level. We are going to be diving deep into so many factors that are so overlooked when it comes to weight loss. I'm creating this video more so as a Bible, something you can refer to and really dive deep into each section, because once you crack these things I'm going to share with you today, which are definitely not spoken about enough, you're really going to master the art of weight loss and master the art of a happier life. So with that being said, let me give you a quick overview of my background. So for anyone that doesn't know me, I've never been seriously overweight, but I have struggled with my weight over the years. I'm not someone that can eat what they like. I'm definitely someone that will come back from a holiday half a stone heavier. If I have extras just for a couple days, even a week, often the weight would start piling on. Although I can get the weight off fairly quickly when I stick to something, but as soon as I revert back, the weight just piles back on. So that's kind of my background, and I feel like a lot of you probably can relate to that because not all of us are blessed with metabolisms that just allow us to eat whatever we like. Towards the back end of last year, I was at my heaviest. I was sad, tired, uninspired, depressed, stressed, and I was at my biggest. And this was a really low time for me. I don't know the science behind it, but what I do know is stress, which raises cortisol levels, can make you gain and store fat, weight, and makes it extremely hard to lose it. So there's so many factors in this video which are not just going to be down to what you eat. We're going to be diving deep into so many areas. So please do go get yourself a nice drink, sit down, get your notepad to hand or the notes in your phone if that's what you prefer. And I really want you to get thinking and brainstorming ideas. And this is going to be a video for people that are ready, because if you're not truly ready to commit to this, it's just not going to happen. There is no quick fix. Let me repeat that. There is no quick fix when it comes to true weight loss. Yes, you can drop 7 pounds in a week like I did at the start of the year, okay? That was a detox, and we'll dive into that later on. But true weight loss that's sustainable, that's going to be maintainable, that lasts, there is no magical quick fix if you want to be healthy about this. So please scrap your misconceptions of that like I used to have, and I really hope the things that I did that worked for me also work for you too. But yeah, I'm going to share all the secrets, so I'm not going to keep waffling and gatekeep any longer. We're going to get straight on into it. Step number 1 is really having an honest conversation with yourself. What has led to this point? Because we need to understand the root cause of the problem. Are you really stressed with work? Are you just a big time snacker and overeater? Maybe you're not good with portion control, but a lot of the time in life there are external factors which are causing us to overeat or to hold on to the weight and not be able to get rid of it. And it's really about actually understanding what is causing that, because as soon as we can understand, we can work deeper on not just what we're putting into our mouth, but what we're surrounding ourselves with. There are, of course, factors in our life that we can't change. We all have to work. We're all going to have stressful situations in our life, and how you deal with them is going to vary from person to person. But what we can do is focus on the things in our life that we can change. So for example, to name a few, bedtime for me was a huge factor in my weight loss journey. Going to bed at a decent time and actually getting at least 8 hours was key for me. There is so much magic that your body does during your sleep, and like I say, I'm not a scientist, I'm not an expert, but I do know that there are so many benefits, of course, of getting your 8 hours. And there's going to be people out there that can't do all these things that I'm saying, but hopefully you can take at least one piece of advice from this video and apply it to your life. So sleep for me was super important. Whenever I don't have sleep, it has such a significant impact on everything. It impacts my mood, which then causes me to feel low or sluggish or tired, which then makes me eat more. Nailing your sleep, for me personally, was the most important step of all. Another one is the things things that you surround yourself with. And this is things like your friendships, what work you do, what you're watching on the TV. There are so many varying factors in your life that will have more of an impact than you realize. Things that you didn't even think about will impact you because they have an impact on your mental health, which then has an impact often on what we eat and how easy it is to store the fat or to lose it. I've been in severely stressful situations in the past when it comes to work. I can sit and laugh now. They were not funny at the time. The actual impact this had on my mental health, which then had significant impacts on my sleep or lack of, my stress levels, and which of course then led to weight gain, have been just off the scale. And by changing them situations has completely changed my life. I'm not telling you guys to go and get a new job or to strip out your friendships, of course, but just having an understanding that these could be impacting you. Have a think about these situations and how do they make you feel, because they might be things that you need to tackle and look into in the future. But that's just step number one. Like I say, that's just the first step of this video. There's so many more things you can do to help your journey, of course, but that was the first thing for me, to really look at my situation and what was causing me stress. What could I do about it? What was actually in my immediate control and what's in my future control? My immediate control is I can go to bed at a reasonable time. I can decide to stop going out at the weekends and staying out late and drinking and giving myself severe anxiety off the back of it. I can choose to stop putting myself in situations like that and being in that sort of environment. So they're the kind of immediate things you could control. And then in terms of your job, of course, that's a bit of a bigger thing. But we get a little bit too deep too early on in this video and I don't want to scare you off, but I just want you to have a really big think about that as well, because these things could be having an impact. The next thing, which is something I've only just realized this year, and I have never viewed food like this before. It may sound silly to some. Food is fuel. You must change your relationship with food. There is no such thing as bad, naughty food that you feel so guilty and shouldn't be having versus I should only be having this. You need to view food for what it actually is. Food is literally what you put in your body to keep your body going. It is the same as putting diesel in a diesel car. And if we eat good nutrition, our body is going to function far better. A good example of this is often when you're on a fitness journey and you're going to the gym and you're trying to build muscle, there's such a big emphasis on protein intake, not having too much sugar, and often you'll be told to potentially not eat fruit, sometimes eat the same food on repeat, and to focus on trying to find as much protein as you can, which can often lead to eating protein bars, protein shakes, effectively things that are often highly processed, full of chemicals, full of fake sugars, and actually, when you break it down, are not good for us at all, but they just help us to hit a target. And that is the way I want you to stop looking at food. I want you to look at food for what it actually is. It's a fuel source. Would you put petrol in a diesel car? That is what I asked myself. You would not, because it would not run, it would stop working. So we need to put things in our body that are actually good for our bodies and are going to help it moving. But with that being said, you don't need to rule anything out and to class any food as bad or good. But the biggest thing that I started to ask myself after various conversations with friends, family, and watching so many podcasts is, would you be able to make that food from the ingredients in your kitchen? If the answer is no, you probably shouldn't be eating it. That's basically the ultra high processed foods. Ultra high processed foods are things full of chemicals, wacky long names. You have no idea what that is. It's not good for our bodies. There are so many studies, so many podcasts out there. I'm not here to preach about it, but that was a massive factor for me to try and strip out as many ultra high processed foods as possible and to start nourishing my body with whole foods. That is not to say I don't have chocolate, I don't have desserts, I don't have a little cheeky dirty takeaway here and there, and I don't eat processed foods. I do, but it's in moderation now. The overriding percentage of my diet is whole foods, and that has completely changed my relationship with food and how I eat, and it's naturally brought the calories that I consume down, which has really helped contribute to the weight loss. The main principle I give myself each day is to ensure that I'm eating lots of fruit and veg and high volume foods, which naturally are lower in calories. Things like tomatoes, courgettes, cucumber, peppers. I have loads of these every single day. I'll have a big salad and I will fill it with these things. I'll have dinner and I'll pop that on the side so that I am getting full. I do not go hungry, and I am never really hungry, guys. That's the crazy thing about this. I eat way less than I used to in terms of calories, but I'm actually so full and satisfied. And if I do have a week of eating poor foods, like I used to do at times, I feel it. Over Easter, I felt it. I felt ill. I had a headache. I was so tired. I was struggling. Just a few days of eating loads of chocolate and poor foods and not having all my goodness completely threw my body off. And since eating so much better, it has changed my life. It truly has. And I really, really want you to think about this. Please stop viewing food as just calories and protein goals and low calorie bars, because I was there. I was that girl. I used to be obsessed with the low calorie bars, but my life has changed since I've completely scrapped these misconceptions. And if I want a chocolate bar, I have the chocolate bar. I'm not going to have an 80 calorie bar packed full of crap when I can just have a penguin bar, for example, for an extra, say, 20 calories and feel satisfied. Both of them are not good for us. Both of them are processed, so I may as well have the thing that I want and stop categorizing things as really naughty and I shouldn't have that. That has done the world of good for me. Another thing I've done, which is not going to be for everyone, and I definitely recommend you do your own research. Do your own research, let me just emphasize that. But I have been intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting has changed my life. I never felt hungry before because every time I had an ounce of hunger, I would eat. I would not allow my body to feel hunger. I would just eat. I would fill that void with food every single time. And I actually now understand when I'm hungry and I understand what my body needs. And intermittent fasting has taught me how to understand my body's signals and cues for, I need more fuel. Give me some more fuel to run this system efficiently. Personally, I don't eat until lunchtime each day. And then my last piece of food is around 7:30 in the evening. I'm not strict with it. I've completely got rid of strict regimes when it comes to weight loss because I find it way too obsessive and controls my life in a way that is not healthy for my personal mental health. We're all different, but I don't count calories, I don't weigh things, I don't measure things. I simply have guidelines that I apply to myself, and some days they're to a T and some days they're not, but overall I stay within them guidelines and it's working wonders for me. My first meal is at lunchtime, which is between kind of 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock, and I try and break my fast with something really healthy. You want to have some proteins, some fats, low carb where possible, because carbs and sugar spike your insulin levels, so when you are trying to look to lose weight, it's really good to have more proteins and some fats. There are so many videos out there on that. I am not an expert on intermittent fasting and the science behind it, but that's what I do. And I have my lunch, I don't eat again until dinner time, and I have a snack in the evening. At the weekends, I have desserts. I sometimes have breakfast early in the morning. I sometimes go out for breakfast. So this is, like I say, an overall guideline and a lifestyle change. When you realize that it's the lifestyle change that is truly going to get you through and make the biggest change of all, your whole outlook changes. I no longer feel guilty if I want to go out for a dinner or I want to have a takeaway. I listen to my body, I listen to the signals, and I know that this is my life now. I'm not going to fall off this because there's nothing to fall off, because I love what I'm doing, and it's so important to find something that works for you that you love. I don't sit there and eat a mountain of broccoli and boiled carrots and make myself feel sick like I would have done in the past. I found foods that really work for my body, that taste great, and I love them, and I actually truly look forward to eating my vegetables now because I found things that I love. And that's the next step. You need to find what works for you and what you love. And the only way you're going to do that is through experimenting. All of our bodies react differently. Our taste buds are different, and what we like is going to be different. Especially for us women, our hormones are going to vary so much more than men throughout the month. So that's going to impact what we want to eat when as well. Finding what you really like is going to do you wonders. For me, it's the Mediterranean diet. I love Mediterranean food. It is my favorite sort of food. I put it down to the fact I'm part Italian. I love to kind of give you guys that fact because I'm proud of it. I just love Italy so much. I love the Mediterranean diet beyond belief. It works wonders for me. Lots of roasted veggies, some carbs, which is great, some fish, some meat, but not in great quantities. It's just a very great diet in my opinion. Maybe look into that, but see what works for you. I watched a series on Netflix about blue zones, which was super eye-opening and interesting, and I recommend you guys watch it as well. That really gives you an insight as well into the people that live the longest effectively in the world and what they eat. And it all comes back to they're eating things that are not processed, that are from the earth. They look after themselves in terms of their mental and their physical health. And this doesn't mean you have to be down the gym lifting crazy weights, slaving away. It's finding what works for you. So that's going to lead on to the next point of exercise. I have been a gym girl back in the day that used to go to the gym 6 times a week, 2 hours a time, quite literally a slave to the gym. I've also done boot camp, which I detested with a passion. I have done pole dancing for a very short period of time, which I was just useless at. I have done workout classes. I've done at-home classes and in-person classes. I've tried Pilates. I've tried yoga. I've tried running. I've tried it all, guys. And the thing that I actually am obsessed with at the minute is just a good old-fashioned walk. Walking for me makes me feel great. It's not too strenuous. It doesn't require a great level of effort. Once you get started, you just keep going. But it's so efficient at burning calories, boosting my mental health, at getting all my body working and moving. And I simply love walking. So every single day I try and go out for a walk. You can make all the excuses under the sun to not go for walks, but your body needs to move. If you're in a sedentary job, you're at a desk all day, you're working from home, get yourself out for a walk. There is no excuse. You shouldn't be too busy to move your body and give your body the basic fundamentals it needs to survive and to function. I think we can always sit and make excuses because our jobs are too hard, because our lives are too busy, but ultimately none of these things around us matter if we're not okay and we're not healthy in ourselves, because we're not going to actually show up as good as we could if we took that time. So for example, if you're in a job where you're working through your lunch break because you're just so busy and there's just too much work on, that's really a situation you need to sit and really have a serious think about, and why you're allowing that situation to run wild, to not give yourself the basics that you require. I feel like I'm saying quite big statements here, but it is all true, and well, it's true to me. I believe that. I have been there and I understand. I've been the girl that got to work 2 hours before I started to study, and then would stay 2 hours after work to study, and my life was just work and studying. I have been there, so I do understand, but looking back, it's super, super unhealthy, and it's not going to get you far by prioritizing things that don't truly matter over your basic human needs of moving and feeding yourself with fuel that works for you. Next, which is probably actually the most important thing as well, which I probably should have said earlier on, you need to trust the process, understand the compound effects, and master the art of patience. 3 things which I am extremely poor at, may I add. I am someone that does a diet and wants results the next day. I want results an hour later. And if there's no results within a couple days, oh, it's not working, it must not be working. No, we must trust the process, okay? And the best way of doing this, in my opinion, is taking pictures, measurements, maybe weighing yourself, and clothes. Putting on an outfit which potentially is tight, trying that on once a week, once a month, and you will eventually see the difference. You have to trust the process. Ultimately, if you're doing all these positive things in your life, it's gonna have a positive impact. But because we're not on a crazy diet and because we're not dramatically cutting things from day one, it's gonna be a little bit slower than a fad diet which lasts 5 minutes and goes on as quick as it fell off. That is why you need to allow some time. Don't get me wrong, if you have a holiday and you want a quick fix, you can go give yourself a quick fix. So let me just talk about my 7-pound loss in 7 days, because that was a bit of a controversial video I uploaded, and I stand by that video, and we'll go back to the other points afterwards. So if you do want a quick fix, you are going on holiday next week, I actually am, and you're thinking, right, I haven't got time to lose a couple stone, I want to feel good in myself, then you can have a week detox. For my week detox, I did eat fairly low calories here and there, but it's a detox. Consult your doctor before doing a detox if you would like, but I personally found a detox to be quite good for my body. It didn't give me any negative effects other than I felt really clean and fresh afterwards. Of course, you can't carry on eating in that level of deficit for a long period of time, but for a short period of time, 5 days to a week, if you're medically able to do it and it's okay for you, like I say, please consult a doctor if you're looking to do that and you have any reservations at all, because we are all different. But for me personally, it did work wonders. I dropped 7 pounds. Of course, it wasn't 7 pounds of fat, but I dropped 7 pounds. It gave me a kickstart. It allowed me to carry on because I kind of made that initial progress and I felt good in myself. It just kick-started the journey. You don't have to do that, but of course there are quick fixes out there, but they're very quick and short term, and as I say, they'll go on as quick as they came off if you do not make this a lifestyle change. Sorry if the angle's changed, my memory card was full because I've been talking so much, and I'm going to try and kind of wrap this up in the next 5 minutes because I know we've been here a really long time. But going back to patience and trusting the process, you have to think to yourself, if you're someone that was like me who's tried everything under the sun, you've tried for years and you're always up and down, what is a few months of just believing gonna do? okay? If it doesn't work out, okay, a few months has gone by and maybe you don't lose weight, what's the worst that's actually going to happen in that time? Well, you would have installed really good healthy habits for your mindset, which is going to make you happier. You would have learned new ways to cook, you would have experimented. So I view this whole thing as such a healthy, great process. It really does change your life. It changes your whole lifestyle and the way you go about doing things. Just give it time. Just ask yourself, what's the worst that's going to happen if I just believe and trust? And think of all the years and months you could have wasted on things that weren't good for you, that didn't work out, that were just fads, and left you back at square one or even at -10 because of the negative impact they had on you. Whereas this whole lifestyle view of things, in my eyes, only has a positive impact on your overall world and the way you view things. So that's really how I allowed myself to just trust the process. I thought, nothing has really worked. What's the worst that's going to happen? Let's just give this time and faith and trust. Don't get me wrong, guys, I'm not where I want to be. There's still a lot more progress that I would love to make with myself, but I'm being kind to myself. And that's another thing I really want to emphasize for this journey. Please be kind to yourself. Don't look at yourself in the mirror and beat yourself up and overanalyze every single inch of yourself. Very, very easy to say this versus if you're in that unhealthy cycle. It's hard to break. Again, I've been there. I have been you. But try and be as kind to yourself as possible throughout this process. And how I used to view it as well is I would look at myself, and if I wasn't feeling great that day, I would say to myself, well, this is the worst version of you and it's really not that bad. Like, things can only get better from here on out. So let's be kind to this version of me because she's not that bad. There's nothing wrong with her. She's a girl on a mission. She's had struggles, which has led to this point, and we're working on it together. So let's be nice to each other, to the past, the present, the future version of myself. It's all the same person, and she's on a journey and she's learning. Look at yourself like you would look at a friend. You would never criticize a friend like you would yourself and be so mean to a friend. You would not be mean to a friend who's on this journey. You would be encouraging. You would be happy for her. You would be cheering her on. Do that to yourself. Be your own friend. The last thing I want to wrap this up by is just a little thing that helped me as well, is rewarding yourself. So have a goal in mind, or something that you want to buy yourself when you hit certain goal points. And it really does help with the motivation. There's a girl that I follow on TikTok and she's educated me on the whole cue, reward, routine sort of. Effectively, it's the concept of you have the cue, which is like your alarm going off to get up in the morning. You have the habit, which is going for a walk. And then you have the reward, which is the thing you're going to buy yourself or treat yourself to when you hit a certain point. Our brain loves a reward. It will install it again more. It almost tricks your brain and helps you to reach that point quicker because you're looking forward to the reward. And the reward could be a big reward, it could be a small reward, it could be buying yourself something, it could be going somewhere. My big reward for when I hit a certain point is to go to the Ritz for afternoon tea, and that's something I really want to do, and that's going to be my final reward to myself when I hit my goal weight, effectively. There are so many lessons and things I want to share with you guys, and I feel like we just have to do another video on it because there's way too much. Do not compare yourself to other people. We don't care what they weigh, what they look like. Please, we don't care. We're focusing on our own journey only. That's another piece of wisdom that I've learned along the way. And the last thing I'll say, I feel like I keep saying that's the last thing. I used to get really annoyed when the weight wasn't dropping. So I would be texting my friends, I've not lost anything this week, I've got up a pound this week. And I would be so fixated on the number and not on what I was actually doing. And then it would just be like, oh, well, there's no point then. That is not the way to look at it. This journey is going to have really quick periods and really slow periods. I sometimes go now 3 weeks staying the same. Don't get me wrong, I'm well aware that I probably could speed up the process of what I'm doing if I ate less and if I worked out more, but I'm doing this in a sustainable way that works for me. Your journey could be quicker than mine, it could be shorter than mine. It really depends on every aspect of you. It's nothing to do with me, it's all about you. But there will be slow periods in your journey and there'll be fast periods, and please do not focus too much on the speed of things, because ultimately if you're doing the right things, it's going to happen eventually, and that's how you need to view it for yourself. The journey does slow down the more you lose, of course, because the initial weight does come off quicker, which is really motivating, and it slows down, and that can cause people to fall off and think it's not working. Just trust the damn process, okay? But anyways, I hope you've taken something from this video, even if it's just one thing. I really hope it helps. I really hope that you look to analyze more than just what you're putting in your body and calories and weighing things out, and you really view this as a healthy lifestyle change, because you need to be happy in order for this to work, and you need to be in a healthy relationship with food and to love your body enough to look after it and to not starve it and to not eat poor quality rubbish foods just to hit some crazy diet goal, protein intake, whatever it is. Please, please, please just look after yourself. And I really wish you luck on your journey, and I hope you have success. And this is just the start. So take care, guys. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, because there will be more positive videos like this coming to my channel. There's already a load on my page as well, so go back and check those out, and I will see you really soon. Mwah. Bye, guys. Oh, follow me on Insta and TikTok too, at Hazel, because we're there every single day, just living life together. Bye, guys.